Hi there. Okay, this is the Exceptional Educator's Guide. Over and again, we need to be very pay attention to how we handle the learners within our space as educators. We want to become exceptional in how we act, our conduct, our behaviors, and then um, how we address learners within our space. Remember, you are not just raising a child in the area of academics. You should be able to influence them positively. Their characters should become better because they came across you. Yes. So as an educator, there are certain things you need to pay apt attention to. And one of them has to do with peer groups, peer pressure within your classroom space. There are a lot of stories that go on. Older children, young children, immediately they come in contact with certain kinds of people within their classroom, they become something else. And it's becoming a concern, not just to school management but to parents as well. So the effect of influence among learners, whether positive or negative, we have to we have to pay apt attention to it. What goes on within your classroom for the 8 hours a child is in your classroom? Are children who come into your class becoming worse and worse or better than they were before? That's what we're going to be discussing here. The effect of influence among learners. Now, it has also to do with you. So, your role and what role you play, or what steps you take, or what actions you take in influencing these particular learners. Now, a father walked into the office in the school with his daughter and then his wife. I think his wife tagged along. And then he was complaining that, hey, what's going on? That this particular child, whom he knows what and what is allowed within the space in their home, a 3-year-old child, a 3-year-old girl, whom he knows what and what is ongoing within the space of, or rather in the house, what's going on, that he knows what she watch. There are certain things he and the wife don't watch if the child is there. But all of a sudden, this child starts school, and then to the extent that she mentioned the name of a little boy in the class and what goes on in the restroom, and then he said no, he cannot take it, he could not take it. He said no, he can't be training a child right and then get to have his child come to school and then the child is polluted. For what reasons? And it was a serious issue. So the classroom teacher was brought before him, and then the child was also addressed. And then when the investigation, I'll call it investigation, was done, we got to find out that the boy was from a family, the little boy was from a family where the parents were not available, and then the older kids, he was left in their care, watched certain kinds of things, and this was where the child was picking up those things he was seeing. And then he gets to class and then he wants to practice or to teach another child that. And that's how the daughter of this man picked up on those kinds of attitudes. Hey, do you know that the learners in your class, you have a responsibility for the hours that they spend with you in school? You have a role to play in their lives. Now, first of all, who are your learners? You may be wondering, or I know you know, who are your learners? Any child within your classroom space whom you are responsible for the hours you teach in school is your learner. Yes, whomever is under your care. I know there are certain other children you attend to within the school premises from another class or moving from class to class, but whomever is within your space for the period of time you get to teach is your learner. So that child is your learner. I remember, or rather, if you listen to the uniqueness of the child, this course we ran, the four-in-one course that we ran. The first one module was the uniqueness of a child. You have to know each child within your classroom space, yes, and how to function. Those who behave in certain ways and those who behave right, you have to know them. So whomever is within your classroom space for the 8, 7, 6, 3, 2 hours they spend with you is your learner. Okay, you are supposed to pay apt attention to what they do, how they conduct themselves within the classroom. All right, moving on now. You should know as an educator that you are a co-parent. Yes, you are a co-parent. You are working hand in hand with a parent to ensure that if they are teaching or raising a child with right values, that particular child is becoming better than he or she was, or at most the child maintains what he or she has been learning at home when it comes to character and etiquette. So as an educator, observe and know, oh, this particular child came in here with good values, good morals. I see this child greets. That child should not start behaving in certain ways from the period of time the child walks into your class, because you're not paying attention to whom his peers or her peers are. For the older children, you have to also pay attention to know, okay, I am supposed to be a guide to, or a guardian to this particular child for this period of time. I'm supposed to inculcate and teach the right things. So you are working hand in hand with the parents. That's why you need to know them, and then you need to co-work with the parents to ensure that they keep being the better versions of themselves. So what are you expected to do? You're expected to keep on guarding. You're expected to keep on guarding. You're expected to keep on guarding these children and ensuring that they are on the right track. So it is your duty to uphold good morals and extinguish bad behaviors through your own influence. It is your duty to uphold good morals. So when you see good morals, ensure that it's upheld, and then at the sight of a bad behavior, you extinguish it. If you hear a child use a particular language that he is not supposed to use or she is not supposed to use, quench it immediately, address it on the spot, because another child will pick that particular word and go home and use it maybe on his or her siblings or the parents at home. So you have to extinguish bad behaviors in the classroom while you uphold good morals. So when you see a child having a good moral, why don't you tell others, hey, I love this about this child. This child always greets. Why don't you try it out? So uphold good morals. A child within your space needs continuous guidance, and remember, they are easily influenced by their environment and peers. So it starts with you. What kinds of words come out from your mouth? Hey, you're stupid. A child will hear that and go home and tell his mom or his dad, you're stupid, because the child has heard his teacher say something like that. Or among the peers, they say, hey, you are so fat, you are this and that. When they say that and you don't quickly interfere, or rather intervene, and call them out on that and say, hey, no, you don't use such words, you don't demean people, what happens is that the other person whom that has been said to will feel, oh, it's okay, or we may go home and use it on someone else because that particular friend of his or that particular classmate has said something like that and nothing was done about it. So continuous guidance is your role as an educator. You don't get tired of guiding them right, helping them to uphold good morals, or trying to do away with bad behaviors. No, it is your duty to ensure that within your space, continuous guidance happens. Now, pay close attention. When their parents are out of their ears for the hours they spend in school, who is in their space and what are they hearing consistently? You have to know what these children say amongst themselves. If you come close, walk past them, you'll be shocked on what some of them are discussing. A particular child has said, oh, she was in a school and she said, oh, this is what I say when my mom spanks. This is what I say when my mom is disciplining. So what happened is that the other one decided to go try it out at home, and it wasn't funny. So when you listen to what they say, you can easily correct, guide, or instruct them. So pay attention to what goes on quietly. It's not just about marking scripts and then you forget what's going on within the classroom. Pay attention. Oh, this particular child is sitting with this child. I've noticed that since this child started interacting with this child, this is what I began to observe. So you pay attention and then you note it, and then you can call them, draw them closer and correct that, draw them closer and correct that. Okay, so the influence, there are certain children who come from polluted homes and environments and find themselves in your classroom among innocent and well-behaved children. What is your role? What is your role? Identify them, identify the ones that, hey, came in with or came in from homes or environments where there is abuse, where there is pollution, and be able to distinguish and say, okay, no, this one I have to begin to curtail, or this particular one will not soil or pollute this other child. So it is your duty to identify and do something about it. So because you are in your space, you are now responsible to a great extent. I know we can't take the responsibility of parents, but for the period of time they are under you, you have a role to play in shaping their lives, in influencing them, and ensuring that the ones who are well behaved get the right dose, get the right kind of influence, get the right kind of things. So do not just ignore them and mind what you were supposedly employed for, because most teachers will say, okay, I came here for my own paycheck. I can't really do much about it. It's the role and complete role of the parents, which is okay to say, yes, the parents have an influence, but how will a child who walks into your classroom have himself polluted by another child in your classroom? So you have a role to play. It's not just your duty to teach. You have to also influence and guide. How do you react to bad influence? You have to pay attention to how you react. So when you react in certain ways, I mean by reaction, I mean how you handle it. When you handle it right, you get to see the results you seek. So how do you influence your learners to be the right peers? Teach them to drop ill manners out the school on arrival. Hey, in this class, when you come into school, you drop whatever it is you have learned at home and ensure that you walk in here with good manners, okay? No foul languages or uncouth discussions are permitted in this class. Teach them courtesy, how to speak, how to sit, how to talk, how to act. Teach them respect, okay? Then even courtesy, don't allow male and female go to the restroom together. Ensure that you take turns to go to the restroom, because so many things go on there that you're not aware of. So control that. Teach them courtesy, how to regard girls, how to regard boys. Teach them respect. Separate unruly children from well-behaved children. Yes, you can do that. You know how you do. You do it without outrightly saying you are bad, you're good. No, you can discreetly know how to separate, and then model the right thing so that the ones who are behaving in the wrong way learn the right thing. Why? Those who are already doing right, we keep on doing the right thing. So you should separate. Don't keep them, because that mix up can influence or pollute the other person. Okay, so teach them good manners, teach them respect. No foul languages or uncouth discussions should be heard amongst them. When they know that you are paying attention to this particular attitudes and attributes, they behave better and they become better, and they influence themselves positively or bring to your attention anything that is off track. Okay, so how do you handle unruly learners? Send notes to their parents on unacceptable actions of their learners. Some parents are not aware that some children are doing certain things in school. Send their parents a note. Let them be aware. When they are aware, they are conscious of addressing the situation. Do not act alienated to it. Don't cover up bad behavior. Stop covering it. When the parents say, "Wait, what's going on?" Tell the parents what's going on. Don't cover up bad behavior. It pollutes other children. Remember, you are assisting in raising nations, so you shouldn't cover up bad attitudes. Invite their parents to school for discussions. You can go as far as inviting, oh, ensure that the administration is aware. Yes, I'd like this parent to come so that they can address this issue. So when they come for a discussion, they take heed and then set rules and stick to them. Okay, the fourth module in the course was we discussed classroom management. So you get to see how to set rules and what kind of rules to set and how to stick by them. So when you do these things, you're able to handle unruly learners so that they don't influence your class negatively. Hey, you are exceptional as an educator. You're supposed to raise the right kind of people who will be blessings to others and not a problem. Remember what goes on within the classroom space has an influence or effect on a child. Many years down the line, they remember who influenced them positively or negatively. Something a classmate would have done can stick and last for a lifetime. So you, as the pilot of the class, you're supposed to pay heed to how things work and be a real model that is influencing them right so that they can influence each other right. I hope this has helped someone today. Please do go through it over and over again and begin to practicalize them. Do this for your class as you begin the new week, the new weeks ahead, so that your children, or rather the learners under you, do the right thing. Okay, so this is the end. I've come to the end of this particular course. I'll do well to go through it over and over again. Thank you for paying attention. Catch you soon. Bye bye.